Hey everybody! I know that's gonna be cringy. So today on WowieTalk, as you'll notice from the lack of certain glorious faces, we are going to be three-personing this episode. What happened this weekend is we had a few technical mishaps. We didn't prepare properly for everybody, and basically we have some lost episodes that might see the light of day one day. But for now, we are missing our friends Carlos and Tara, but instead we have a wonderful new addition. So today we have Sab Irene, who's
Ayo.
She's also been a collaborator. She's done Weebop with Insane in the Rain, an anime EP. She's worked on Multiplayer 2, and she's also made some fantastic game covers. And we also have Pajama Pants and myself. And today we're going to talk about funny or weird music experiences, especially since I guess all of us have had some sort of band experience or like live performing. So who wants to start?
Well, I am a performer by trade, performer teacher. And so I have a lot of wacky kind of performance stuff that happen. Usually it's forgetting words. Because when you're a singer and you're doing, a 2-3 hour long opera, you're going to forget some words. It's not in your native language a lot of the time too. Funnily enough though, usually it's the English words I forget. And English words when you forget, it's more difficult to recover because you can't just like go whereas in Italian you could be like spaghetti, macaroni, lasagna, and you're good.
When you do that.
No, yes, I've in like German, I've forgotten all the words and I've just been like Schindler.
Oh my god! Of all the words you could say,
I don't know. You just say like German-esque words
to sound a little
Italian-esque
upset.
words. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty much.
Oh
yeah, so there was one, I was doing a recital, and it was an English song based on Shakespeare text. And so the intro verse, Diaphinia, like a daffodili, white as the sun, fair as the lily. And then I couldn't remember what comes next, so I'm like, Diaphinia, like a daffodili, white as the sun, fair as the lily. What comes next? I don't know. Diaphinia, like a daffodili. And I repeated that. I repeated it the whole way through. And so it wouldn't have been that bad, and I don't think people would have really noticed, except that I had program notes with all of the lyrics. So people who were like, I saw people studying the program notes, being like, that's not what comes next. And my pianist is like stuck repeating the same, like, 4-bar structure. The second, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so embarrassing. I would have to say that the number one most embarrassing performance experience that I ever had, though, had nothing to do with singing. Because with singing, I can, I have enough experience to know how to recover and how to just fake it.
Right.
With other instruments, like piano, which I rarely perform except for in, covers, I rarely perform live, and I don't know how to, fake it at this point.
Right.
And I was accompanying a student at a recital, and I had arranged this little piano part to go with her little silly song, and it was literally 1-5-1. All I had to do was play 1-5-1, and I managed to seriously mess that up. I was like 1, and then it was like cluster chord 1. Oh, and it was bad because I'm like, there's all these other teachers here who actually play piano, and I'm supposed to be a piano teacher too at this school, so I teach voice and piano at this school, and I'm like, oh my god, this is humiliating. Why can't I do anything? Anyway, that's all I have for now. Who has something else?
So, a few weeks ago, I was working with because I have the Route 225 thing up, and that was a combo that we decided to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was originally supposed to be Megalovania, like, a long time back, and then I dropped it, and the drummer was like, I really wanted to do a combo. I'm like, okay, so I put together that, and we practiced 3 times before the performance, and we never ran through the whole thing together, because the first time I forgot everyone's sheet music, and I was able to print theirs out, but not mine.
Ooh.
So we skipped the solo section, and then the next time we practiced, the guitarist wasn't there.
Of course,
So...
typical guitarist. Am I right?
So we literally 5 minutes before the combo of the concert, I'm like, guys, listen for the fills, because the bassist and the guitarist were always off. So like I'd be in my solo and I'd be right with the chords, but they would be off. So it wouldn't matter if I was right. So just making sure that like everything went well. Like it was good. Like we started out good, and then either me or the alto, we missed like the one accidental we had. I'm like, oh shit. I mean, that's not too bad. I'm going down the list to what was worse, kind of like Julia. Then we did a Chambers concert that was Thursday, and we did a piece called Strange Humors by John Mackey.
Oh
my god, that was... Yeah. And so we decided, because it was the 4 senior saxophonists, we were going to wear all black and wear sunglasses, but not to perform. So we walk out on stage with the sunglasses, and I feel absolutely ridiculous.
As you should.
So it's like 2 seconds after, like, we're setting up, I'm like, Jim, I'm like, can we take these off? Can we take these off? He's like, yeah. And, like, we were getting ready to go, like, we did a tuning note, and the alto was, like, fixing his music. I'm like, good job tuning, Brian. And then it was just, like, a good 3 minutes before we actually started, because, like, the conga player was like, wait, I gotta adjust everything. And we were trying to make sure that everything was good, and the fan was blowing down on us, so we weren't sure if our music was gonna fall.
Ooh, that's always wacky.
But the worst thing that I think I've done in a live performance was last year we did this piece called Recordame by Joe Henderson in jazz band, and I brought it to my saxophone teacher.
Go on.
So I brought it to my saxophone teacher because he was helping me with some of the licks, because they were really exposed with like the tenors and the trombones. And he's like, ooh, an open solo. Guess what? You're gonna do it. And I had never improv in my life. So I was like, Mr. Popat, I'm like, are you crazy? So I went to my band teacher, and he's just like, you can do it if you want. So I started learning what are called dominant resolution licks, which are basically licks to do over 2-5-1s, because there are a lot of those in jazz. And I took the ones that he wrote out for me, and I applied some different rhythms, because otherwise it was straight like da 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 da, like it was straight A. So I wanted to do some variation on it, so I wrote it out on a sheet of staff paper, and it was one tune before Recordame, and I realized I didn't have my sheet, and I was freaking out. I'm like, Ciano, because he had just announced it to him, like, Ciano. I'm like, I forgot the sheet. I'm like, should I do it without? He's like, no, just go get it afterward. So we finished the piece, and I ran off stage during the applause, and I ran all the way to my locker, got it, and I was, right before I opened the door, I was like, I'm probably gonna get a bunch of stares when I go out there. And I, like, casually just walked, and everyone's looking at me, and I sit down, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I did a jazz solo once on flute. And
jazz flute.
I think it was a C blues scale, and I managed to do like an E natural, like something wacky happened, and I was like, this is not in the fuck.
I think an E natural is actually.
It was not,
I get what you.
It wasn't the C then. It was something where an E natural was not in the C.
I mean, I guess it would be like a lead-in sort of chromatic feel to it.
Yeah, like whatever.
Oh wait, no, E natural isn't in it. You're right.
Yeah. So
it's a raised fourth in the blues scale.
Yeah, C.
It's the C E flat, and then
you could have done like
F.
I don't know.
Anyway, music theory, whatever. Who cares? I don't know. I just remember being like, this sounds awful, but my and I kept doing that like in rehearsal too, and my finger just like my pinky finger did not want to, push down that little key. It wanted to my ring finger wanted to raise up and do an E natural, and I just remember being like, okay, well, something Julian Sanchez, shout out, told me every wrong note is next to a right note. So
that's such a yeah.
If only I had done that. If only I had known that at the tender age of 16 or however old I was.
Another tip is actually, if you play a wrong note in jazz in a solo, if you play it 3 times, it sounds like it belongs. I've tested that, like my teacher told me, and it does work. Where like you think it sounds wrong, but you keep doing it, it's like, oh, okay.
Big thing for guitar people who are always trying to write solos, because we have to do that. that is like such a very good advice, because there are so many times where you will improvise or want to improvise and you'll hit the wrong note and it'll sound bad unless you throw it in. Like, I did this Earthbound song 2 years ago, and there's this one song that would have taken me like 10 years to decipher because it's freeform jazz. So what I ended up doing is just literally playing nonsense, which is what I assume freeform jazz kind of can be. But, you know, I played it in time, and the bass is just like... It's like chromatic, but it sounds cool, and it works.
Yeah. That's like, jazz is all about that stuff. When you're...
And it becomes beautiful.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's the wrong notes that make it special. And like just now, the cover I'm working on for an album coming up. As I was recording the piano, the plug almost soon. Plug. As I was recording the piano MIDI, I hit a G instead of an A, and I went, oh crap! And then I was like, oh no, that chord's way better. Like it's way that
color tone.
Yeah, that dissonance is way better now.
For sure.
So
stories. I started music like many, like as a kid, and like most of my recitals up until whenever like band were just like piano recitals. Nobody cares. No one's gonna like you weren't like uptight. But then in middle school, I moved abroad. I had this like teacher who really, really didn't like me, and it's not that I was playing bad, because I'm pretty sure I was like one of the happiest kids to be there. Like everyone sludges into the band hall in like 9 a.m. and everyone's like tired, and I'm all chipper and getting out my trumpet and putting in the mouthpiece. There are 3 occasions, I'm pretty sure, where I got my mouthpiece stuck in the trumpet. Like I could not remove it and put it in the box.
Yeah.
So I take it to school with the mouthpiece sticking out and the box like rubber band, my case. And my teacher just like groans and takes it. So this situation happens in a recital when we're all playing like some Japanese-inspired like basic band piece for middle schoolers. So my teacher has to trudge through all the parents on the side. For some reason, his like co-teacher is conducting. He like goes up to my trumpet, takes it from me rather aggressively, and then like does some like magic like grip of death and like pulls it out. And then puts it back in properly, and I'm just like mortified. So yeah, I don't play the trumpet anymore.
It scarred you.
And let's see what other times. So I ended up in high school kind of putting together a 3-piece band that kind of worked. You know, we had a drummer from a different school, and one of my best friends who played saxophone played bass. So he had to learn bass like in 2 days. And he like every day.
That was the case in high school. It was like, you can hit sticks on things. You're the drummer.
It was literally that. It was like, you can read sheet music, right? It's like, you're the bass player.
Yeah.
And poor guy, his fingers like they got calloused really fast. And different people have different acidity and like finger strength. So this guy is just like dying to play the most basic things with us. And I remember we did Jump for my senior year. You can, and okay, this is a plug, but I really don't want to watch because it's cringy. But you can see on my channel, my very first upload is a performance of that. And our bass player was playing fine. I was just like super hyper because, you know, talent show, the one time a year I get to be on a stage at all. And we go into play.
And play guitar.
Yeah, and play guitar. I'm normally on stage for nothing else though, so it was just like really fun. And then I go back, and then my bass player Alvin turns to me and he's like, "Could you hear the bass?" And I was like, "Man, I should have thought about that." And it turns out one of the people working in the back and it was like a student, but they, you know, like you ever meet someone in your school and you're like, "I'm 1,000% sure you don't go here."
Yeah.
Like everything, they keep looking around everything like it's the first time they saw it. Like one of them says in a very like, I guess Eastern European kind of accent, something like, "Oh, I think the cable fell out." And then it turns out someone else tells me it's like, "Yeah, they unplugged it." Like mid-show. And I was...
Yeah, that happens.
So bad.
That totally happened to when I was doing some band stuff, like not geek band, like rock band stuff. Yeah,
Nice.
some guy's doing a solo, and he like gets excited, and he comes to walk towards me and unplugs his amp, like the bypass cord
The worst
from
part
the
is-
amp. Yeah, and he just wanted to have fun and come say hi, and then it came out. It's so sad. And there was something else that similarly happened to me when I was doing I had the one solo in the choir, and it needed to be mic'd, and I went up to the mic, and the woman who was using the mic before me turned it off, and I did not realize, and I was singing the whole thing into a mic that wasn't even on. And then all the old biddies afterwards went and complained to my choir director, "We couldn't hear the solo!" And he got really mad at me.
It's funny you say that, because I actually think from the same performance, I kicked the mic, or my cable pulled the mic away from my amp, and it tripped down,
man.
and everyone heard it, except for me, of course, because I was like in the moment being Ro, and
Being Ro.
it was just like something, like so many things slipped my mind and came after. What else? I just had it. There's a few times like, oh, what was it? We did like Grease Lightning for a pageant, and the choir had never practiced with us before, or like to the music, I think. So,
Yes.
When band and choir people mix.
yeah, like men's ensemble was really cool, and they like dressed up like greasers, and they had everything down. And then the timing was like, get your motor car running, while we were playing like the other chord. And they were supposed to be singing on to us. We did
That happens
Rocky
a
Horror
lot.
Picture Show. What's that song? Time Warp?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a mixed ensemble of kids, like guys and gals. And they just like, oof, the timing was bad. There was never time for rehearsal. And that happens, I guess, but...
So, are we approaching that time?
It's been 17 minutes.
There we go.
All right. Well, next time we're gonna have our friends back, all of them, and we'll talk about more cool stuff. Leave a
That's
comment.
the plan. Comment.
Yeah.
Tell me something about yourself. I like to know things about you.
Yeah.
I hope you like to know things about us.
Give
Cool.
us one cool thing about you and one suggestion for what we can talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, this has been WowieTalk. Signing out.